What is up, guys? Pie Muffin here, and we are back with our Tales of the Rays video. So, we finally got a PV. So, I didn't have all the information from the previous Tales stream that they did. You know, I kept getting bits and bits of information, because I guess no one was really talking about it. So, I really didn't, have information. I just knew they were like, okay, you know, around the 3rd of January, there was going to be a PV. And I assumed, since I didn't hear anything different, that it was just going to be the PV for the whole month. Obviously, I cannot read Japanese, so I didn't have the full information. So I did not know that this was just going to be for the next event, which is Arise. KISARA and DOHALIM are coming to the game. I'm just going to skip around to the important stuff here. But yeah, so the next event, starting on the 5th, which is going to be Wednesday, will be Tales of Arise, the final batch of characters, which I'm still a little weird about because they've already stated how they don't really have a ton of characters left to add besides bosses and NPCs. So you would think over the next year at least they'd want to milk Arise. So maybe every 3 months, 3 or 4 months, add 2 more characters. But we're only 4 months, almost 4 months after Arise's release, and we're already going to have the entire main cast, which of course is also because Arise, you know, the last few Tales games have kind of had lower cast numbers. Zestiria was pretty high actually overall, but it's still if you count the core members by the end, it was still pretty low. So you know, Arise only having a cast of 6 characters makes it pretty quick to add them to the game. Obviously they apparently have, you know, big plans moving forward. The end of Last Cradle is not going to be the end of the game. They're still going to add characters. There's still going to be events, possibly a brand new story. I don't know yet, but we'll have to wait and see. But for now, let me just scroll over the important stuff here. So first things first, just like the previous 2 batches of Tales of Arise characters, KISARA and DOHALIM will be getting seasonals as well as normal Mirage Arts. They will be getting this is a New Year's event, so you can see DOHALIM right there, and then KISARA right here, so that's for their seasonals. It's going to be a Tales of Arise focused event, so it's going to be all the Arise cast here. I assume Ix and Melina will be involved as well, because they're usually involved even in solo stuff, or in solo events like this. But I wouldn't expect too many other characters besides Ix and Melina maybe popping in here and there. This is mainly going to be an Arise event. From what it looks like by the background, it looks like they're on our little floating fortress, you know, where all the core Tales characters basically live, so we don't get, you know, assaulted by random enemies who might try to kill us. It might not be, though. It might not be. It's hard to tell exactly where it's taking place. They show a little anime. You know what? I'll actually, I'll play this real quick. Just make sure it's not too loud. Okay. So we'll take a look at their animations real quick. Very New Year's themed. Well, DOHALIM felt very New Year's themed, but it's also in character with him in terms of food and stuff. And then KISARA's obviously makes a lot of sense with fishing. You know, if you played Arise, you know she is the character you fish as when you do fishing. And there you go. That's basically the full cast. And then let's take a quick look. Here is the artwork for their normal Mirage Arts. This is obviously when, spoilers by the way, if you've not played Arise, when Shion first tries to attack DOHALIM, this is obviously when he stops her in the first introduction. And this is also the first introduction of KISARA. The Mirage Arts for Arise are the normal ones, mind you, are not very spoiler heavy. Specifically because they don't want to spoil people who may have not played the games yet. So that's why the scenes they pick for the Mirage Arts aren't as spoilery as some of the older characters. You know, like Lloyd fighting Kratos in his, or, you know, stuff like that. But other than that, that's pretty much... Oh, and, I guess let's take a look. Their normal Mirage Arts are just their Mystic Arts from Arise, so you'll see it right here. Yep. It's just his Mystic Art. And same thing with KISARA, she just makes her shield big and throws it down. And there you go. We now have all 6 Tales of Arise characters with Mystic Art cut-ins now. These are their, anime-style cut-ins that we would have had in Arise had they decided to continue going with that instead of doing what they did with, like, the motions. And that's pretty much it. So, like I said, they didn't show us the rest. This event is going to be going from the 5th until the 20th, and then I assume we'll get an event on the 21st that'll go until the 30... How many days are in January? Yeah, 31 days in January. So from the 21st to the 31st, we'll probably have an event there. Or we might not. They might just do some kind of like special mini event thing. But it's really hard to say. And then, of course, we'll probably have a story chapter this month. Up until this point, they haven't said we won't. So that's what to expect there. And then, of course, at the end of February, we will be having the 5th anniversary starting. So if you are someone who's worried about who it might be, my main prediction is Emil, Ludger, and Milla getting their decisive Mirage Arts finally, and then maybe a boss character. So that would be like, for those 3 characters, either like maybe Brute for Emil, which would make more sense with Marta, but, if Marta's not the anniversary character, you still go with like one of the bigger bosses. Unless they wanted to go with like Aqua, the Centurion Spirit, that was basically following Richter around. But Brute, maybe Kronos for Ludger, or maybe Maxwell for Milla. But if they don't go with a boss, I do feel like it's too soon, but it would not surprise me if they really want to milk this as much as they can. If Alphen gets his decisive Mirage Art, he is the main character of Arise, so it makes sense to put him there with everybody else. So if they wanted to do 4, kind of like they did last year we had, who was it? It was Iria, Riala, Kohaku, and Rudy. We didn't get a boss last year. It was just those 4 heroines. So they could do something like that this year and just do, Alphen, Emil, Ludger, Milla. Although I guess technically, Milla's a heroine, but she's also a dual protagonist, so she still is like the main hero. Same with Jude. Since you actually do play both of their campaigns. And then I guess the following year, I mean, they wouldn't be able to do that for Milla, but the other 3 they could do, the following year if they wanted to do, they could do Shion for the 6th year, Marta, I guess Alt Milla for Ludger? I mean, we don't have a playable L, so that's the only person I could think to kind of mirror Ludger for Zillia 2. And then they wouldn't do anyone for... Jude already has his decisive Mirage Art, so they wouldn't do anything for him. But long story short, what I'm saying is the anniversary is coming up. So I would recommend... Unless there's just like a favorite character you really need. If you have all your teams squared away, I would recommend saving. Like I said, unless there's like an overlay that comes out that's just for a character you really, really want. The anniversary will probably have a lot of stuff. Plus, you also have to remember the yearly Tales of Link stuff will probably, like it always does, follow the anniversary. I mean, it's not when the anniversary ends. It's literally during the anniversary. It's like the next banner or the next, 2 weeks later. And I do think since last year they did Decisive Mirage Arts for them, I think this year would be the perfect time to give them Spirit Gears. So maybe don't give us a Spirit Gear batch this month or next month, and then just give us a Tales of Link Spirit Gear batch for all 4 characters. I don't know how they'd handle that with 4 characters, but I really hope they wouldn't do like 2 and 2. But then again, at the same time, they might just do 2 and 2. Just because they seem to like to do things in batches. But last year we did get, the crossover Mirage Art. Well, actually, yeah, last year was the crossover Mirage Arts for Kana and Zephyr, and then Alan and Sarah. So I do think Spirit Gears would be perfect this time around. And then I do think... just kind of talking about the roadmap for this year, I do think in July we could see a Tales of Crestoria event. Maybe do Kanata, Vicious, and Mizella, just because since they like to do the mobile games on the anniversary, and since Crestoria is shutting down in about a month, I I think that would be the perfect time to kind of bring them over here and see what they kind of play as in a normal Tails play style. I think it'd be really interesting. But that's pretty much all I have to say for the roadmap when it comes to like what's coming up. So if you are wanting to collect the rest of the Arise cast, you know, you do have KISARA and DOHALIM coming up here in a couple days. I don't know what their banner is going to look like. I think realistically, probably if they want to follow what they did with the last banner, they'll probably do KISARA and DOHALIM, both their Mirage Arts. So that's 4 Mirage Arts there. And then probably the normal Mirage Arts for Rinwell and Law. So you have 6 Mirage Arts on a banner, which is a normal amount for a banner to have. I don't think they're going to be generous and just have it only be KISARA and DOHALIM. If they're really not wanting to be nice, then they might shove Alpha and Xion back on there too, so you have 8 Mirage Arts. But probably not a banner I'm going to be summoning on. I'm sure I'll get KISARA and DOHALIM's Mirage Arts down the road. They're probably going to get plenty of stuff. Plus, we already know second seasonals are going to be starting this year. So all the fan favorites like Yuri and such are going to start getting second seasonal Mirage Arts. So do have to worry about who's going to be getting what when. But with that, I've rambled on long enough. Let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know if you're going to be summoning for KISARA and DOHALIM, or let me know what you are most excited to see. And if you have some thoughts on what we might see during the anniversary, let me know down below what you think we'll see or what you hope we see. But that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more to the channel. I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful day, everyone.